The past hour or so, we've had the UK Met Office issuing its first ever red warning for extreme heat.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 5 biggest stories from the 2022 heatwave.
And we do measure temperatures in the shade, so that 40 degrees is a shade temperature. I'm stood in direct sunlight and it's a lot hotter than that.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we're looking at the biggest news stories from the July 2022 heatwave, when the UK melted under 40-degree temperatures. Let us know in the comments how you kept cool during the heatwave. Number 5. Panic buyers.
The farm reservoir down to its last metre of water. This will be dry by tomorrow night.
We thought we'd left panic buying behind in 2020, but apparently some people are still at it. As the temperature began to rise the week before the red warning was sent out, the small Isle of Sheppey in Kent suffered from a burst water main. This meant that the water supply for the island was completely cut for 48 hours, which led to people panic buying bottled water to get them through the heat.
Well, it comes after the Met Office issued a red extreme heat warning across England that stretches from London to Manchester and York.
Southern Water eventually fixed it, and luckily before the worst of the July heat. But elsewhere in the UK, it was alleged that Aldi had started rationing bottled water. Aldi denied this, and it looked as if it was only one branch trying to limit how much water people could buy. Regardless, with threats of widespread infrastructure damage, you can't blame people.
You must force to the elderly and babies to be hydrated, to drink water. You must watch them closely. I suggest that the people stay at home from 1 to 6.
Number 4. Boris goes MIA. He may have announced his resignation, but until September, he's still the PM and should have been the one coordinating the UK's emergency response to the sweltering heat.
The heart of England, today hotter than the Caribbean and Western Sahara.
Never one to break a long tradition of avoiding doing his job though, news broke that Boris had missed not 1, not 2, but 3 Cobra meetings.
But who has been noticeably absent has been the Prime Minister, and this has raised eyebrows for some because he has, for instance, attended the Farnborough Air Show today.
We're not sure Boris has ever attended an emergency meeting during his tenure, as even at the beginning of the pandemic, he did not go to them. As a result, Kit Malthouse was left to fill in for him, while the opposition condemned Boris for his shoddy handling of the crisis.
And they are seeing a Prime Minister who's basically checked out, so he's not really doing anything. And you've got a cabinet that is completely distracted with the circus of a leadership race.
He would have rather gone to an air show than try to limit the number of excess deaths. Number 3. Infrastructure. Speaking of air shows, even planes weren't immune to the damage the heatwave caused. Luton Airport had to completely close because the runway started to melt, making it unsafe.
At Luton Airport, flights were suspended for a while after the high temperatures led to what was described as a surface defect on the runway.
Given we've already had weeks of disruption and cancelled flights in airports, this was the last thing they and their customers needed. The transport network has been damaged in other ways too, with train tracks getting so hot they were warped, making it dangerous for trains to run. It was advised by the Met Office that people shouldn't travel at all unless absolutely necessary, though many were still put out by their cancellations.
Network Rail had asked people to travel only if absolutely necessary. There were some cancellations and speed restrictions along many lines.
Even the electric network suffered damage, with a power cut affecting thousands caused by equipment overheating.
I think it means really looking to some of the hotter countries around the world and understanding how their infrastructure is resilient. So how are their trains still running through these temperatures?
Number 2. Major incidents. Up and down the UK, major incidents were declared because of huge fires breaking out. In direct sunlight, the heat is far greater than the reported temperature, which is always measured in shade.
And when you've not had rain for a long period, when the grass is incredibly dry, fires can start very quickly and spread even faster because of wind.
This meant areas of dry grass were being subjected to temperatures likely exceeding 50 degrees Celsius. This alone caused fires to break out across London, in Wales, in Yorkshire, Lincolnshire, and other parts of the country.
So yesterday was the busiest day for the fire service in London since the Second World War.
The fires were so numerous and so severe that there were many major incidents declared, including across London again, where dozens of houses were destroyed in the blaze, including one particularly nasty fire in Wennington.
Well, these are obviously extremely distressing images, and I think everyone's hearts will go out to the families affected by this awful event.
Doncaster too saw debilitating fires, as did the Pembrokeshire coast in South Wales. Number 1, records shattered. Though the entirety of Europe has been struggling under the same heatwave, for a while on July 19th, 2022, the United Kingdom was the hottest place in the entire continent.
A record-breaking day, not one we wanted, but one that was well forecast and we've known about for some time.
Not only was it hotter than Spain and Italy, but temperatures were also warmer than Lahore in Pakistan and near the average summer temperatures of desert-dwelling cities like Cairo and Dubai. Multiple times during the day was England's all-time heat record broken, with Wales and Scotland also recording their hottest temperatures since records began.
The past hour or so, we've had the UK Met Office issuing its first ever red warning for extreme heat.
And West Yorkshire saw the highest overnight temperature in the country's history, with temperatures not dropping below 25.9 degrees all night in Emley Moor. Now, the highest ever temperature recorded in Britain is a scorching 40.3 degrees Celsius. The first time we ever cracked 40, recorded in Coningsby in Lincolnshire.
And we do measure temperatures in the shade, so that 40 degrees is a shade temperature. I'm stood in direct sunlight and it's a lot hotter than that.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.